It's that time again. We're seeing some more Symphogear, and with the world, once again, I'm not sure really on the precipice just yet, but the idea of organisations beyond anyone's control, and with what seems to be spanning several hundred years at least. But much like most seasons of Symphogear, start off looking relatively okay, hit some sort of impassable barrier, then some more transformation sequences. So I'll be on the lookout for more of those. And hopefully a little more growth and backstory, well not backstory, but growth and story for the newer members of the team. Haven't really been centre stage much. Quite the outfits they've got going on there. So, we're going back to... Roman Empire or some shit? Ah yes, few-day-old bread, my favourite meal. She might be past that, though. But as far as tragic backstories go, a lot has changed in 1,000 years or so. Shouldn't her battle have dwindled and died after the Roman Empire fell? Since that seemed to be the great evil that she was trying to overcome. You know, that kind of people fighting for their life just for a meal isn't exactly a new concept. And also, well, I guess we got the answer right there in that one. I was about to ask, how far back are we going to go? Since it showed the ships a few hundred years ago or whatever, and now back to the Romans? But for a organisation that is fighting from the shadows, somewhat called the Illuminati or whatnot, having their jewel of choice being a heart-cut gem, much like most of the characters in this show, their actions and outward appearances sometimes would be outright evil prominent, but actions more grey. Or reasoning more grey. I mean, she did quite well so far to not rust, but... Damn it, Carol. So, once again, charging straight in. You don't want to have that read back at you in a court of law. But... But I'm guessing it's going to put up quite a fight, and maybe Hibiki will slightly overcome them. Just be like, oh yeah, by the way, we've also got these suits that we've been working on. So you're struggling now. Mm-hmm. Well, with that shadowing, you thought maybe she was feeling something about it, but no, just somewhat indifferent as always. Huh. Are we going to get any other World War II era forces mentioned as well? I mean, protect the... I mean, that's the level of what they're fighting for now. So it goes above the citizenry. If they don't do something, then they'll all be killed. Or something. Are they essentially trying to build like an Enigma machine? Homework. Farming. We're playing Stardew Valley out here. A rather stiff civilian. They don't seem to want to communicate. That counts as realistic? God, I'd hate to know what they looked like before. Another scarecrow. Careful with that one. They're vicious. And the evacuation order was given out, but tomatoes. Her life and evacuation order come secondary to that. I mean, if they were to go to waste, to be fair, I've grown my own tomatoes, and they are worlds apart from store-bought. Unfortunately, my plants died after a year. Don't know if you have to continually cycle them or not. I didn't really do my research. Really? Here? Protect the crops. I mean, she's not wrong. Remember, their mission at the minute isn't really to defeat them, just try and get to a different area so you don't have to start planting all over again. I mean, the harshness of the words, just calling, yeah, you're background characters, really. We're waiting for the main cast to show up. Sure, but why not all of them congregate, just in case, you know, if there's a sudden outburst of them. They seem to have done a scan of the area anyway for any lingering civilians. Some of the sound effects being used, though, somewhat a little overboard, but that's Symphogear for you. How many classic kind of ricochet and shot sounds do you need? terms of speed, I guess, yeah, as the crow flies or as the missile soars, probably one of the better ways. Now that's the game I want to play. Missile surfing FPS? I think that'll do quite well. I mean, leave them to their fate, waiting for backup, or do something for the time being, but keep safe. Unfortunately, with Chris's attitude, I don't think should be. Well, good recovery of the song. Trying to be defensive, that's what I was going to say. Now, how was that string being drawn? It was a distraction. I thought Chris had another weaponry or something like planted mines or something. No. The most powerful of all the spears. The dimwit. I mean, yeah, you waited too long. Is this actually returning? And is there a way that they'll be able to counteract any of this alchemy stuff? Making a transportation portal? So actually, no. Stop that. You're not going anywhere. Well, at least the tomatoes are safe. She didn't get one before. Yeah, neither was I. I mean, if you don't like him, it's hard to turn down free stuff. Yep. For some reason, my tomatoes are... That explains a lot. For some reason, my tomatoes were incredibly sweet. Oh. Don't care for your plants, almost let them die, and they'll come back better than ever. I mean, how close to their lives do you really want to have as an analogy to tomatoes? It's taken longer than expected. That's a hefty hairstyle. And compared to the rather light-hearted take on these guys, this one seems to be very much straight to the point. If you've got enemies, kill them. Get rid of them. Stop the trouble before it grows. Yes, yes, and yes. Everyone seems to be working far too hard. Seeing a bit more of this side of it, that, you know, rather than just being told that she's working on it but still not quite working. Yeah. I mean, child experimentation, even if it's slightly unethical, if it's already done, why not use the results of it? Again. Just keep at it. Tear your body apart or succeed. Can't have a single moment, can we? Is he going to stop them? Sitting around and doing nothing doesn't really sit well with them. But is the fact that they're now heading to the civilians to try to help them evacuate again going to put them in actual danger more than if they just stayed home? We need a heavy guitar transformation at least once an episode. But anytime we have a combined song, all of their voices together, it's very nice to hear. That poor frog. But if, you know, rage is eating away at their hearts, sure, they've overcome it and that's why they can now use it, but are these crystals going to push them back? I almost had a Terminator 2 moment. Actually blasted her out of the mode. I mean, since they just easily got rid of everything that Sylvester threw at them just now, I don't think a missile volley is really going to do much. You should know better than to ask that. This is the turning point where we need to step back for a moment. But what? Homing? Delayed burst. Doesn't seem too hard to aim, especially if your opponent's just going to stand there staring at it. Right. So like what was the alchemy noise before that could tear away parts of the gear, now pinnacle of kind of alchemy creation. Doesn't seem Sure, but chains of oppression. Gotcha. The vague fight. Who exactly is are they trying to unyoke them from? Is this the foretold... Look at that dapper hat. Weishabt. Or Weishabt. Ah, he's no longer a Reddit mod. That's good. I take that back. Transmuting gold? And does that need to be done in a birthday suit? I mean, it's going to need a lot of energy for transmutation anyway, so... I see. But never give up. Good of them to help everyone else get out as well. But rather, yeah, than leave their compatriots to suffer the blast of some nuclear fusion. Not the tomato lady again. Hopefully a reoccurring character that we'll see plenty of in the future. But for him to just show up, remove several square acres of land and mountain, got some gold. Although I've seen more out of a like Alaskan riverbed, you don't need to do this. Now the question is what Chris had to decide with the can't remember the kid's name, or if it even had a name, removing the legs, was that a decision that's going to have to be made because of this kind of bullshit? Although I don't know if this show would permanently disfigure or disable some of its cast. But the idea of this... I can't remember the name of the one. Just showing up, being like, alchemy! Not actually worrying whatsoever if there's team members down in the field or not. Yes, we can definitely get on their side, can't we? Well, what can we expect going forward other than a lot more exhibitionism? That was a word. You know you're on the force for good when you have to strip down to your own naturals. I did like the comment from Hibiki though near the end, you know. Hang on, if you're trying to save mankind and you're not wanting to hurt anyone, why don't we work together? Just for it to trigger a thought process in the other ones, like, Good point. I never actually thought about working with people. If that is a light bulb moment, it's like, hang on, yeah, we don't need to fight and hinder our plans. If there's some sort of common ground that doesn't involve injuring others, things might progress a lot smoother. But yeah, the idea of Marie and the others sacrificing themselves once again because they don't have the power to fight, they don't have the linker, they don't have a way to fight on equal footing with the others. And yeah, that's not going to stop them really, even the long-lasting side effects of total organ shutdown. And I'm guessing from this, because they've pushed themselves to that limit, there's going to be another little setback just for it to be like, by the way, because of what you put yourself through, you managed to get the research done. Yes, it did involve orphans and a lot more of that stem cell research and the like. But what, are you going to complain about it? You've now got the power to fight. Also, the quick backstory of the main antagonist there being like, oh, a slave in ancient times, and the mother died due to malnutrition and no one would help because, you know, slave status. Okay. Seems a little heavy-handed in the approach of telling that. Maybe I just expected more from Symphogear, not being just quite so, you know, on the nose and bad thing bad. But as far as working to make the world better for, you know, getting people out of their shackles and out of, you know, liberate them from under the yoke of oppression, well, chosen a pretty poor time to do it. Would have been more impactful several hundred years ago. Oh, wait a minute. That's when Finney went, chucked half the team overboard, didn't it? Symphogear is a good show, and I do enjoy it. It leaves a weird thought whenever I see it. Like, I don't ever get an actual sense of danger for the characters. Like this one showing up, oh, nuclear fusion, just dissolving the entire area. So yeah, sure, but they're going to be fine next episode. Maybe I have become desensitized to the violence that they're suffering, or it's because of the whole, was it the end of the Finney arc where they sacrifice themselves just to be like, by the way, they're fine. Kind of, you know, cuts a lot of the tension when there's so many kind of just pullbacks from actual danger. And as far as antagonists and story goes, not quite as immediately catching as Carol and the auto-scorers. And their ideals are a little more dubious of just helping people in their own kind of way. But yet, I think because of that, it's so much more curious as to what actually is going on here. If you want to find out, stick around. Make sure you're eager for the next episode. And to make sure you don't miss out, consider subscribing to the channel so you're not left in the dark when a new episode gets released. Maybe even leave a like and a comment on this to beat the dreaded YouTube algorithm. And you can check the link in the description for my Discord for notifications and memes, and well, that's about all there really is of use over there. Nothing I say matters. But definitely for now, take care of yourselves. Try and rest up. And I'll see you for the next one.